Hi folks, I'm Hub Arkush along with Kevin Fishbain to my right, Arthur Arkush to my left, as we report live from Bourbonnais Bears training camp for ChicagoFootball.com. Gentlemen, day 4, second day in pads, things getting interesting. Unfortunately, injuries the story so far. We don't know a lot, but Alshon Jeffery, Kevin, missed all of practice today, and the drop-off is noticeable and instant when they go without both their big receivers.
Yeah, you know, as a whole, the offense hasn't been as great as you would think in the second year after all the talk all offseason, and Jeffrey's looked fantastic. Brandon Marshall, for the most part, has looked good, but on today's practice, he'd had a few drops. Marquise Wilson's looked good, but you're right, the drop-off, you know, Eric Weems has had a couple nice plays, but you don't necessarily want Eric Weems on the field there with a 3-4 wide out situation. So when Jeffrey's not out there, when Brandon Marshall isn't playing up to his 100% caliber, you definitely notice that.
And probably one of the reasons that tight end Martellus Bennett had his biggest day of the training camp so far. But Arthur, it was interesting, as much as Marquise Wilson has looked good trying to earn that number 3 spot on the field with the ones today, he became somewhat invisible.
Yeah, not as good of a day. I think he's had a strong camp, has made a number of grabs, but like you said, today was an opportunity maybe for him to step up a little bit. That wasn't taken. Eric Weems was working in the 3 wide receiver personnel in Jeffrey's place. But yeah, you want to see more out of these guys. I think in addition to the obvious lack of pass catching explosiveness that's not there when Jeffrey's on the field, let's not forget about his blocking ability. He really progressed in that area last season. The Bears are one of the best teams in football with their wide receivers blocking downfield.
The other thing that was very noticeable today, guys, and I'll come to you first, Kevin, it was Jimmy Clausen with the number 2s all day long. Now, I talked to Matt Cavanaugh after practice, said don't make too much of it. We gave most of the number 2 reps to Jordan Palmer yesterday, but they are very pleased with the way Jimmy Clausen's progressing.
Yeah, and Clausen has put together quite a rapport with Chris Williams, the guy who's expected to be the number 1 candidate for that return role out of Canada, and he's had a couple nice catches thrown by Jimmy Clausen. So it's important for these backups because, you know, if they get into a game at some point, they're not going to be throwing to the Chris Williamses, the Eric Weemses of the world. They're going to be throwing to Marshall and Jeffery, but they need to find somebody in that second or third team that makes them look good, and it looks like Clausen has found that with Chris Williams, also Michael Spurlock.
Arthur, Matt Cavanaugh stressed to me way too early to make decisions or comment on his number 2 quarterbacks, but the bottom line, Jordan Palmer's arrow appears to be pointing down. Both Jimmy Clausen and the rookie David Fales seem to be making some strides.
That's right. Yeah, Palmer just seems to be struggling a little bit with his ball placement. I don't think he has quite the athleticism that you'll see from Clausen and Fales to a lesser extent. But yeah, it's a golden opportunity obviously for these other guys to step up as Palmer continues to struggle. Unfortunately, Clausen has looked good. I know Kevin's mentioned it before. You see a little bit more arm strength than you do out of Jordan Palmer for sure.
Ton of storylines here at Bourbonnais. We've got them all for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For the best Chicago Bears training camp coverage, stay right where you are at ChicagoFootball.com.